Hi, how you doing? Today I'm going to be doing something a little different. Since 2014, at the end of 2014, I started writing a newsletter. The name of the newsletter was called Connecting the Dots. It was a newsletter that came from one of the speeches that Steve Jobs gave. He said, "You cannot connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking back." And I wrote about 15 to 16 different newsletters. And then I got into creating videos on YouTube and then creating an online course. And oh my goodness, life has managed to really challenge me in 2017 and 2016 and 2015. It's been 3 years of significant challenges. So I was sitting at my desk the other day and I was like, you know what I should do is just make Connecting the Dots a video. So this is Connecting the Dots volume 16. And maybe it'll go back to print one day, but the truth of the matter is that I'm finding it very difficult to get videos up and let alone start typing, and so kind of have to pick one for now. I'm just not in the position to have all the extra time to have mixers, to work out, train clients, sell Advocare products, create videos. I spend time with family, try to do my best to have a social life, unwind, meditate, do some yoga. I mean, those are literally things that I have to do. Go to the birthday parties. I mean, sometimes people will say things like, "Jacob, join us on this night out," etc., etc. And the truth of the matter is, I literally visualize how many nights have gone out, which are several, and I've had some amazing times. And I visualize myself thinking, no, you know what? What's going to happen? Who's going to be there? Well, I'm going to get there and people are going to feel like they need a drink, and I'm going to feel like maybe I should, maybe I shouldn't. And, you know, I visualize that night and I think to myself, I don't really need this in my life. And so, believe it or not, I am not going out right now. I do have a concert that I will be going to, which is Lady Gaga's concert in December. Hopefully she doesn't cancel because of that. But Connecting the Dots, really, for those of you that are more interested in my videos, Connecting the Dots, the newsletter, was just everything. It's a combination of everything on my mind, everything that's sort of new, trending, stuff that's revelations and stuff, like connecting the dots to how everything goes. And I thought it was really a cathartic moment when I said, well, why don't I just make Connecting the Dots a newsletter a video, right? And so really when I write, I'm pretty free-flowing, as much as like I'm doing now, talking now. I'm just free-flowing. Recently on my mind, this is where I would put like a header. Recently on my mind is this law that passed in Canada. Now, this came to my mind because of a man named Jordan Peterson. Now, Peterson is a psychologist or a doctor of psychology in the Canada University. And he is saying that this law, this legislation that passed, the name of the legislation is called C16. And the law, again, according to Peterson, I myself have not read the law fully, so I cannot attest to its accuracy. I will say that Jordan Peterson is a very well-spoken man, and he merits being listened to a very high degree. A very smart man, Jungian psychologist, etc., etc. In any case, coming back to what I was saying about the C16, is that Jordan Peterson has a lot of concern for whether or not this is a ethical movement by the lawmakers. You see, what Law C16 does is it establishes it to be a hate crime, illegal to not, in other words, to not refer to someone by the pronoun they have chosen themselves to be. These are some common ones: Z, Zer, or Zim. Now, if you're like me, if you're from my generation, you're probably already lost because of the ludicrousy of what that sounds like to be called, like to be established a law. So in other words, say someone says, hey, you know what, my name is Jones. Okay, hey Jones, and Jones says, you know, I want you to refer to me as a Z. And I'm like, okay, Jones, you know. Now let's just say, if I were to say, hey, Jones, where is Jones? I don't know, I believe Jones he's over there. See, if I were to say he's over there versus Z is over there, or they's a common one. I was in the car with my cousin-in-law, and he's a psychotherapist, and he said that he also doesn't really like that term they, you know, to refer to one person, as in, let's say I'm Jacob. Well, you now need to call me they. And if you don't call me they, if you don't refer to me as they, that's considered a hate crime, and that's illegal. So that's what is the law, C-16, is to make it illegal to not refer to somebody as the pronoun that they want to be called. Okay, so again, I went into that a little bit, so to kind of unpackage that for you, because it's so abstractly odd to people that believe that there is such a thing as a male and woman gender. Like, for example, most people that view my channel tend to be males, right? You know, you on YouTube are documented as a male, right? Or you are documented as a female. Like, it's not like a male, female, Z's, there's, Zims, okay? So that's what I'm getting at, that there is this debate going on in the world right now, and in Canada, okay? Just north of the United States, there is a controversy that whether or not people are in fact born a certain gender. And this topic is picking up some steam to the point where it is now a legislative law in Canada. Now, Peterson, us in the United States do currently not have that law. However, Peterson says, hey, listen, you gotta get behind this and, you know, say something, because it could be passed in your job or your school. It can infect you. They already, for example, declined one of his grants, you know, and they've never declined it before prior to this. And because he's picking up a lot of steam on YouTube, and in many cases, you know, I needed to say something about it, because to me, so I'll come out and say my position, okay? To me, there is such a thing as a male gender and a female gender, and this is chosen by the odds, by God at birth. Like, that is my position. Now, naturally, someone like yourself may have a different position. The good thing is that free speech does protect our ability to voice our position, and just let the cards fall where they will. In other words, let's just say someone says, well, I'm very much against what Jacob just said there. Well, that's okay. Like, the autonomy of people is that you can have your position and I can have mine, and they can both coexist on this reality, in this reality called Earth. Now, at the same time, if somebody chooses to say, well, no, let's imagine if I were to censor your words and say you cannot say that you, on any circumstances, are a Z. And if you do, if you say you're a Zer or a Zim or even a worm, like, that's one of the things that people are, you know, pushing for, is that if somebody wants to refer to themselves as a worm, like the little squiggly thing that's in the dirt, then they must be referred to as that. Again, that sounds like a joke. I think that can sound like a joke. However, this is some of the stuff that I have found that is I'm not trying to create a joke here. It's literally something that's being discussed, and again, now has legislation pushing for it. So my position, to restate it, is I'm against that legislation in Canada, or my position. And again, Canada is not my country. We have boundaries, right? They have their own autonomy. I am saying I'm against that movement. I am backing Peterson at this time, and I have a lot of respect for the man. And I think that he's one of the people on our planet that is out to produce good ethics, morals, and to keep a hierarchy of values. For example, I used to train people, very smart people. They would read books all the time. They had all these opinions and all of this intelligence, great educations, like $1,000 educations, like $100,000 education, $100,000 education through the school system in their mind. Plus, I'm talking about just college. So very well educated, very well read, very well opinionated, and just great minds, And so these people sometimes would have a difficult time losing weight or not working out. And I would tell them, I'd say, you cannot outsmart fat. Meaning, you can't argue with fat to get it off. You can't, the only thing that's going to get body fat off the body is disciplining oneself to study the science of weight loss, implement science of, like, for example, fiber is such an important aspect of your diet. So is omega-3s, so is probiotics, so is a good protein source, so is sleep, so is water intake, so is motion in the body, whether it's weight training, yoga, cycling, you get the idea, swimming, exercise, movement, metabolization. Okay, these are metrics that cannot be argued with. And by the same token, connecting this back to, again, Jordan and C16 and the whole dialogue I was saying, again, connecting the dots. One cannot just throw out the baby with the bathwater, meaning that we are coming from a time of safe space and these kind of things that are coming, like, okay, well, let's just be about not offending people, and I don't want to offend you. And if you recall, 2015, there was memes and jokes about, like, they had Forrest Gump one time on a bench, and he's like, I don't know, but all of a sudden, people just started getting offended. Or it's just, in other words, there's this socialist Jordan refers to it as postmodern Marxism, postmodern Marxism. And this movement is a very, like, socialist type movement where, like, we can't, like I said right now, you can't outsmart fat. That's a premise I'm stating, and it's coming from years of research, years of analyzation, just applying the sciences, right? And through applying the sciences, I'm able to help people get what they want. Now, a socialist type mentality would say, well, they would find some kind of error in what I just said. They would say, okay, well, you shouldn't say it like that. You shouldn't say you can't outsmart fat. When I said it to be very clear and give a direction and say, okay, you can't outsmart fat, you must apply the sciences, you must apply the things that we know will achieve the goal, which is to apply the sciences. A socialist type, social justice warrior type person would already find errors in what I just said. They're so busy looking at the errors and the oppression into what I just said that they would totally miss the accuracy of what I said. It's like throwing the baby out with the bathwater. In other words, why are we so busy looking for the error? Why not say, okay, it's clearly stated for me. I now know what to do. Fiber, omegas, probiotics, protein sources. So what of what was just said am I doing correctly? What can I validate? And what can I apply? And what could I do then? And then how can I measure the result? Right? That's a very scientific model of thinking. But if we look at just, is this hurting me? Is this making me upset? Do I not like that now I have to work? And because I don't like that I have to work, maybe maybe that's incorrect and I'm actually correct. I'm going to try to see how I'm correct and they're incorrect. This is more of a socialist or postmodern Marxism type attitude, okay? And I'm using diet to kind of, it's so hard to debate diet. It's so hard, but you will find people that want to debate science of dieting. There is a way to go about discussing nutrition that respects many ideas, ideologies, philosophies. And there can be several diets that help. You know, some people believe in fasting for 3 days. Some people believe in intermittent fasting. And some people believe in not fasting at all, okay? They're not necessarily, any one of those is necessarily wrong. However, you know, when we get into the saying, okay, well, looking at nutrition period is wrong because it makes me feel like I'm not good enough. Okay, that is what I'm saying. That's completely ridiculous. While understanding that there's a variety of, you know, diets, and that we can design our own is a more balanced way to go upon designing our nutrition program. You listening here, you do go through a moment in your, while you're gonna eat something, there's a moment in your choice which goes into what's available. You know, what do I like? What can I get? What can I afford? What's going to help me feel good? You know, what's going to help me make friends? What's going to make, maybe they're eating and I can join them, and that's going to give me a better memory. Okay, so the nutrition aspect, for example, is not something so simple as to say, okay, well, drink water, take your vitamins, eat chicken breast and rice and some vegetables, and you're good. You know, there are some people that eat like that because they're bodybuilders. At the same time, most people go through what I just said, like this analyzation. And I guarantee you right now watching your next meal, it's going to go something like, what's available? What do I like? What can I afford? What's good for my nutrition program? What I want to do with my body? Who's going to eat it with me? You know, these are the things that you're going to go through. You might, and again, the SJW type person, like this postmodern Marxism person, may say, I don't like you being so, you know, clear-minded. I don't like that you are establishing these metrics of, you know, what's available, what are you going to buy, or what do you like, who's going to eat it with you, how much of it are you going to eat, what time are you going to eat it. The metrics are pretty much set, okay? You don't have to try to outsmart that. That's the way it goes. It's a scientific fact. You know, some people don't like that clarity, or they don't like that attitude of certainty. And that's where it becomes into, again, certainty is not necessarily considered good to the social justice warrior type, these postmodern Marxists, because it's offensive to them on some level. In other words, just like there's clear metrics to design a diet, there's clear metrics, okay, a man, you know, you got your XY chromosomes and XX chromosomes. There's people that don't like that it can be so clear like that, okay? I'm getting ready to go on to the next clip because this camera only gets videos in 18 minute marks. And we'll pick up where I left off here in a bit. Okay, so here we go. 3, 2, 1.